He's actually the one who needs to hear it. I saw Joe got a photo, but he could actually benefit from these words. Oh, he's here. Are you there? No. So, I didn't know what I wanted to say to you all here today, but as I sat down to put together some thoughts, something so oddly, freakishly coincidental happened that I had to start with it. Literally, as I was writing down my words, a comment came into my website. It was left on a post dated almost a year ago to the date. The subject of that post was last year's NARTH convention. And at the time, I had written a little post about NARTH's claims that the American Psychological Association has a bias against them, and my usual response is, no, NARTH, scientific fact and biological reality have a bias against you, not the APA. So then I think I made some sort of a joke, and I put a period on the post, and then I moved on to something else, probably something Maggie Gallagher said or something, and I just kind of forgot about it. It's very rare that someone takes the time a year later to leave a comment on a year-old post, and usually when they do, it's not because they have something nice to say, it's because it's something negative, and they have a bone to pick, and that was the case with this comment. It was from a NARTH supporter, and it read, "This article is simply a straw man attack on NARTH. In our culture, those who are dissatisfied with the unwanted homosexual attractions and choose to pursue change are often treated with disrespect, mockery, and ridicule, as are the therapists who try to help them. It is ironic that some of the people who defend the freedom to embrace homosexuality are the same ones who mock those who want something different for their lives. Tolerance and diversity mean very little if differing worldviews are excluded." Okay, so there's nothing particularly newsworthy about the comment itself, but the reason why I start with it and mention to you today is because that is exactly the reaction I always get from the ex-gay person. It doesn't matter how measured my words are or how organizationally directed my focus of my post. It's always that I'm accused of attacking. It doesn't matter what I say. They act like we who are out here are out to get them as human beings, and that we oppose whatever choice they want to live the life the way that they choose to live it. Like we're picking on them, or we're the bullies, which is just disgusting. The truth, of course, is that the vast majority of us who oppose NARTH and the ex-gay movement in general, we're supportive of people's right to get intimate inside of whatever sort of adult relationship that they wish to choose for themselves. We're not threatened by the choice of partner, even though that partner is oftentimes celibacy. We're not offended by the right to make a determination for themselves, even if that determination does mean rejecting certain realities. We may feel sorry. I personally feel very sorry for anyone who doesn't live his or her truth, whatever that truth may be. But I have no desire to hurt or to offend, and I definitely don't want to make that person's journey harder. So that's our goal. That's not their goal at all. Their goal in the organized ex-gay movement, which is of course led by NARTH, they do want to do harm to our lives and our loves, as people, as individuals, not just our movement. They prey on vulnerabilities, telling the most susceptible among us that most any bit of pain that an LGBT person has in their life is because of their homosexuality or their gender identity. They target parents who are desperate to come to a better understanding, and instead of providing that understanding, they, of course, provide obfuscation. They also target us on the political level, working hand-in-hand with the so-called pro-family groups to provide cover in debating legislation like the Employment Non-Discrimination Act or Don't Ask, Don't Tell. After all, if they can quote-unquote prove that homosexuality is not innate, then groups like Focus on the Family can then tell their supporters that it's okay not to support LGBT legislation, since we're nothing more than broken heterosexuals anyway, and we're choosing it, they're just opposing the behavior and not us, opposing our actual rights, our civil rights. And then, of course, there's also the element of just pure fact, just pure raw data. It's become a political cliche to quote the late Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan's words, saying that everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but not his own facts. But the reason why that quote's a cliche is because it's so true. We can all disagree. Matt Barber, who I saw earlier, can come out right now and he can tell me that my marriage is wrong, sinful, whatever. I don't give a damn. He can tell me whatever he wants. And I can look him right back in the eye, and I can tell him that it's truly bizarre that a grown man dedicates his life to what happens in gay people's bedrooms. Truly, it's bizarre, Matt. I hope you'll see this online. But neither of us, me nor Matt, should create or promote junk science groups that are purposely designed to muddy the waters of credible research. But guess what? One of us does exactly that. That's not an overstatement. That's what this does. They want to take reality and they want to just change it. Whatever they want it to be. Their script is written and then they change facts to get their desired preconceived outcome. So going back to that aforementioned commenter, I would just say you are absolutely right. Nobody should ridicule you. Nobody should mock you. Nobody should disrespect you. But pointing out simple facts is not mocking. Ridicule is telling a legally married man like myself that my family is wrong or broken or unfit for federal rights. Mockery is telling educated scientists that they have a quote-unquote liberal agenda anytime they put forth research that jives with the realities of our known world. Disrespect is taking vulnerable people's money and telling them that something you know is unsupported by independent, peer-reviewed fact is actually some sort of magical cure for a non-affliction that never needed a cure to begin with. Inside this hotel, NARTH is trafficking in all three. Outside this hotel, I am telling them that I will work with every fiber in my being to drain their snake oil for good. Thank you. Woo!